Day 19 of the 40-day soul fast by Dr. Cindy Trims. Today's chapter focuses on the power of envisioning. She states here, if you plan to change your future, don't set your mind on things or people or circumstances that are smaller than what you desire to see manifested in that future. She then states, your ability to harness your imagination determines whether life's opportunities will shrink or expand. Albert Einstein, a scientific genius at imagining unseen opportunities, said, I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. And here she calls us to replace small thinking with a clear vision of what that bigger picture looks like, down to blueprint-like details you can almost touch, taste, smell, and see. Then she shares a story about Abraham. There was a time in the Bible where God brought Abraham into a territory, saying to him, as far as you can see, I will give to you. So what God was saying to Abraham in that moment is, if you can only see a small portion of land, then that's how much I would give to you. But if you can see as much, if you can see a large portion that I'm giving unto you, that's much as I can give to you. And what Dr. Cindy Trims is saying here, that God had Abraham walk in every part of the territory to make sure that Abraham's mind could take in how large this territory was, how large the portion was, and how large he could receive. Imagine if Abraham only saw a little portion. That's how much he would have received from God. And then she goes on here to encourage us to ask God to enlarge our capacity to think, to be able to take the limits off, to give us the ability to see in our mind the seed of massive potential that he has planted in our heart. As I'm speaking right now, I'm being reminded of the story of Jabez. Jabez prayed the prayer saying, oh Lord God, enlarge my capacity, enlarge my territory. There is a reason why Jabez would have asked God for such request. I believe personally that Jabez had to have seen others. He had to have seen that, oh my God, there are people who are operating in large capacities. He had to have seen that his life was actually small. When he compared his life, he went back to God and said, God, oh God, enlarge my capacity, enlarge my territory. And I believe that's what Dr. Cindy Trims is calling us to ask God for here, to enlarge the way that we think, to take the limit off our mind. I'm encouraging you today to envision. Think beyond what you've seen. If you don't have anyone around you that can show you, if you don't have anyone around you to be an example, God can show you. When you go to sleep and when you dream, God can show you in your mind. He can show you in your dream. You might not have anyone around you to show you to be an example, but when you go to sleep, God can encounter you and give you a large vision. He can show you in your dreams when you sleep. So ask God to show you. I'm encouraging you today to enlarge the way that you think. Think beyond where you are. Think beyond what you can get now. Think beyond yourself. Think about your generations upon generations down the line. There's this book I read by Steve Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It says, think with the end in mind. If the end for you is to be a doctor, perfect. If the end for you is to be a cleaner, that's what you've decided to think. But if the end for you is generational wealth and legacy, then you start thinking beyond that. Your mind has to search. Your mind has to just grow. So you need to ask God. You need to ask God, what is the end in mind that you have? For me personally, there should be no end. It should be limitless because God is limitless. We're moving from glory to glory until the day that Jesus comes. As long as you're on this earth, as long as you have not been put in the grave, think beyond now. Think beyond 10 years from now and think limitlessly. Why? Because Christ is limitless. He is eternal. So that means even when your journey is finished here, when you go to meet him, it carries on there. You're limitless. Remember that. So thank you for tuning in to day 19, and I will see you in day 20.